Welcome back, my dear students. In this lecture here, we're going to be learning about a new function called the auto load. And the reason why we're going to be learning about this is because we need to start getting prepared, getting our application prepared to be error free. We don't want errors. We don't want mistakes in our application. And if we do have a mistake, we need to find out exactly what it is. Now, we already have some safety net with some of the errors that we can display from the query not being found or PHP not finding something like that function display errors that we already turned on from the beginning of the course, right? Well, we need a little bit more than that, all right? And because we are dealing with objects, we need a function that will let us know if we for some reason forget to include one of these classes here. All right, and this is what the auto load is going to help us with. All right, so let's say for example we forget to include the user.php class. What do you think is going to happen when we go to the admin? We're gonna get a very ugly fatal error there. Our application is going to fail because it can't find the user, and it depends on the user to do many things, right? We don't want this to happen. All right, we are not perfect and we might forget to include it. All right, when we are building really fast, we forget things, right? So we want to create a safety net for this issue here. All right, so the auto load is going to help us do something when it finds it, when it doesn't find it, when it's not declared, when it's not included. We can do a couple things with it. All right, so let's go ahead and learn how to use the auto load function. So I'm just going to create a file here called functions.php, and usually I do this in all my projects, and you can create it anywhere you want. I like to create it in the either inside includes or outside. So let's open our PHP tags, and the auto load function is super similar to the constructor in a way that it uses the same syntax, which is these two underscores there. So auto load. All right, and the auto load, what the auto load is going to do is going to be scanning, all right, our application and looking for undeclared objects. So if it finds the user that is undeclared, it's going to catch it and pass it in as a parameter. All right, so I'm just going to put class in here. All right, so what we want to do most of the time is we want to make everything lowercase or uppercase, whatever you want to do, but you want to make it so it's one way, so that way that you know that this is not uppercase, lowercase, and want to make sure that everything is either lowercase or uppercase. I like to do everything lowercase. All right, that way we know that we have the correct file, right? So he also asks us for the path of it, right? We need to provide the path, and you could provide the path right here if you wanted to. You can do everything in one line and not even deal with this if you don't want to, but I like to do it like this. So I would like to create something like the path, and I will name it. I would actually, because what it is that this PHP right now is looking for index.php, right? It's looking for the class in index.php. So we need to actually go out of this here to the root of admin, all right, and look for that index inside admin. All right, so we need to actually go and write something like this. I'll show you right now. Dot dot, all right, and then includes, and that's basically it. Once we do that, then we'll be able to find the class. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We're not that far off. Let's just do includes. All right, then we use the brackets here, and we could say the class right there, and make sure you put your .php, because that's what the file that's what the file has, the name of the class and the extension. All right, so we can say something like if file exists, and we can use this built-in function in PHP. If the file exists, then what we could do is we could require or include. We could say include right here the path. There we go. We can also use another function which is called require once, which is going to make sure that this was only called once. And if it's not called once, it's going to give you a big error. until your listing is already been declared or something like that, right? So else, all right, if you can't find it, what I want you to do is just kill every script after and say, you know what, the file, this file named, and I'm just gonna put class PHP. Okay, that's good. Was not found. Man. Something like that, right? All right. Now, another thing that we need to do besides doing this is that we also need to include functions.php in it, because right now we try to make this function work. Our application doesn't know anything about functions.php. We need to include it in our major master inclusion file, initializer file. All right. So let's go ahead and put it right here on top and just call it functions.php. And as you can see, this is still commented out. So let's see if it works. All right. So we got to go back to index and we are going to refresh. And as you can see, it does work. All right. We're getting that username out of there. Now let's go back and let's say for example, we make a mistake on this auto load and I messed up on the path. Let's see what happens. I saved it, by the way, and I'm going to refresh. And as you can see, undefined variable on the right there. So it still found it, but it found an undefined variable. Actually, the file name user was not found. I'm supposed to put was not found. It didn't find it actually. I'm sorry, but I put a typo here. Sorry about that, guys. That actually took me off. The file was not found, man. I actually wrote this in my head and never wrote it down on the code. All right, so sorry about that. So you see, if it doesn't have the path, of course, if this is wrong, it's not going to find the file. But we get a better error right here. You see that? Was not found, man. But let's just do it the right way. All right, let's say for example, we come here to admin and we declare another object. Let's say for example, I say photos, not photos, but pictures. So I have an object called pictures, and it's gonna say new pictures. There we go. Let's go back here and let's see what happens. Oops, we have an inspector on line 13. Let's just check that out real quick. Let's just save it right there. All right, I forgot that parentheses. There we go. So undefined path. All right, I want to show you the clean error, but this is in the way. Let me show you the clean mistake right there. Now there we go. Suave. This file named picture was not found, man. All right, we're still printing out Suave. That's why we got that, and we forgot the D right here on the named. But anyway, you get the point, right? We can put a better error right here. All right, and we can also, just in case if it does exist and we forget to include it, we can require it. So I think this is a great safety net for those of you out there that are looking to build a robust application, and this is the way. All right, so I just wanted to show you about this auto load. I think it's very useful for you to know that. So take care. Thank you for watching this, for making me your instructor. You're doing great if you're following me and you learned something super awesome today. Take care, my friend. I know it was long, but it was worth it. Bye-bye.